Hello campers! Welcome to our 4th week of Caledonia Kids Summer Camp at Home. We've been doing some really fun activities this summer, like science experiments, DIY craft projects, yummy homemade snacks, and some wild outdoor games. Today we're going to learn more about God's true word, the Bible. Last week we learned about how God created people perfectly in His image. God created Adam, a man, and Eve, a woman, and gave them a beautiful garden to live in. They had a perfect relationship with each other and with God. God only gave them one rule to follow. Adam and Eve could eat fruit from any tree in the garden except for one. They weren't allowed to eat fruit from a tree in the middle of the garden called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God told them that if they ate from this tree, they would die. One day, something terrible happened. A serpent came along and tricked Adam and Eve. He said it was okay for them to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The serpent said they wouldn't die if they ate the fruit. Instead, their eyes would be opened and they would be like God, knowing good and evil. Adam and Eve fell for this trick and ate the fruit, even though that was the one thing God told them not to do. Immediately, they knew what they did was wrong. They realized they were naked and they were embarrassed. They made clothes for themselves and tried to hide from God. God called out to them, "Where are you?" Adam and Eve couldn't hide from God because God knows everything. He already knew what had happened. God was not happy with Adam and Eve. He told them there were consequences for their disobedience. These consequences would affect the whole world. God told them that they now would have to work hard for their food. He also told them that they would die someday. God made Adam and Eve leave the garden because they had disobeyed Him, breaking the one rule that God had given them. Have you ever had a hard time following the rules? Sometimes we don't want to do the right thing. That's what we like to call temptation. We're all tempted to do wrong things. This is because when Adam and Eve ate from the tree they weren't supposed to, something called sin entered the world. Sin is anything that we do that disobeys God, like being unkind to somebody, telling a lie, or not listening to our parents. We all sin. Just like when God got upset about Adam and Eve sinning, it makes God really sad when we sin. Our sin separates us from God, and there are other consequences for our sin too. Sin hurts us and our relationships with others. Sin is what makes the world really broken. That's why there's injustice, like war, hunger, and people hating each other. Thankfully, God has always had a plan to save us from this brokenness. God sent His Son, Jesus, to rescue us from sin. This happened when Jesus died on the cross for our sins. His death paid the price for the sin of the world so that we don't have to be separated from God anymore. All we have to do is believe in Jesus and ask Him to forgive us. Then we can have a relationship with Him and live forever with God in heaven. Isn't that incredible? And let me tell you, Jesus is the bestest best friend ever. All right, I've got a family challenge for you guys this week. I challenge you to go for a walk as a family and to pick up every piece of trash or litter that you see. It's important for us to be good stewards of the earth that God gave us. You could even make it a competition to see who in your family picks up the most pieces of trash. If you share a picture of your family doing this by Thursday evening, you'll get an entry into this week's prize drawing. If you haven't already, check out the prizes. They are awesome. I'll see you guys throughout the week with more fun activities to do at home. I'll see you guys later. Bye!